Well, people, we finally have some transfer news. I'm going to get into it today. There's one that's up in the air. I've looked around for one in particular in Matt Targett. Some say it's off, some say it's on. I don't know, people, but I'm going to go with the latest that I've seen. But if it updates and if you're live in the stream, let me know and I'll check back and have a look elsewhere. But Leeds United, we have been quiet this window. I've got to say, disappointingly quiet, and not because I expect a whole dearth of players to come in. We don't need that. But just because we haven't shored up a few positions that I feel that we need with this manager in place, just to make sure, you know what I mean? But we haven't lost anybody. But apparently we have a bid rejected for Cameron Archer, and we're going to get into that. And I'm going to give my full thoughts about this whole thing. Because even though we're coming to the end of the window, you can't satisfy me with crumbs. It doesn't work like that with me. You know what? I've been in the game too long. You know what I mean? Been in the game too long. What's going on, Jazz Beer? Harlem Show saying, sup, KG, yeah. Passion saying, I think with the obligation we do. We'll get into that. Absolutely, we'll get into that. My Lord. Well, listen, people. Oh, Parrot House, thank you for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, my guy. And listen, if you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. Big up to you, Russ, man. Nice to see you in the live chat as well. Don't know how long we're going to be on this one, but it's worth talking about for me. It's worth talking about. Aaron here, Shades of Harmabid. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And we've just seen as well, so we can put it to bed. Buendia has left for Leverkusen on loan, so we can forget all that now. And I only say that because somebody recently in the comments said, should we go in for Max Aarons? But obviously they didn't realize he'd moved to Valencia, and that's it. So that's an avenue closed. Phil, not saying your surname, big up from Northern Thailand. Shout out to you, man. And shout out Dallas, Texas in the house, Julie in the house. Yeah, big up to everyone, man. Shout out to everyone tuning in. So let's get straight into this, man. I've literally just come back from the gym. And people messaging me saying, what about Cameron Archer? Are you going to talk about Cameron Archer? Well, yeah, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk. Because Nizar Kinsella, and listen, it's been reported many places, but he's wrapped it up pretty nicely here, and there's a few follow-ups as well. Leeds are targeting a move for Southampton striker Cameron Archer, with early talks having taken place. A move is currently unviable, but could be revived as the 23-year-old is open to a move before deadline day. Is that? Yeah, and as we know, people, we've been linked with Cameron Archer before. In terms of Cameron Archer, he's been linked with us before. I think we was linked before we actually signed Joel Peru as well. I think it was a choice of him or the other. But in terms of this now, I don't even know where to start with this. I don't know who it makes sense for besides Southampton if it is an obligation to buy via Leeds United. In terms of this, and this is the latest I've seen, and this is via, this is again wrapped up by Saints Extra here. At the moment, Southampton's stance on Cameron Archer is that they want to keep him, but negotiations with Leeds will continue. And if they can offer a loan with an obligation to buy, it might be enough to tempt the Saints. For me, I don't want anything to do with this deal. Nothing at all to do with this deal. If it's a straight up loan for the rest of the season, I'm cool with it, because with this manager, he needs another striking option, it seems. And if he needs that, we're gonna have to go and get what he needs in terms of just getting the squad over the line. But for me, Cameron Archer with a view alone with an obligation to buy upon promotion to the Prem, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is a player for me that is still a very, very good championship striker. I would have no hesitations about taking him in this division. But Premier League, absolutely not. And also with Cameron Archer, I got to say this. I got to say this as well. How many moves is this guy going to have in very, very short space of time, by the way? Now, I'm all for it. Listen, he's getting his signing on fee. His agents getting their signing on fees. But he has literally done in the last couple of years alone. He's gone to Sheffield United permanently. Obviously, Villa had the buyback. Villa then buy him back in the summer, just this past summer gone, only to then flip him to Southampton. And now again, he could be on the move and he's open to it. This to me, with Cameron Archer, I don't know whether he needs to just find a home and settle, but I don't need to be the experiment. I don't need us to be the experiment for this player to have yet another move just to again move on in 6 months' time. Because let me tell you, if we're going up to the Prem and he's going to be one of our starting strikers, we may as well not go up. And it's nothing to do with his ability. He has got ability. He has got ability, but not at Premier League level for me. No, not at all. So it all depends on what Southampton want. I think they paid around 15 million for him. They'll probably be looking to recruit that back, especially upon promotion for us. You know, Premier League money. They'll say, "Hey, you can afford the 15. You're getting promoted." I I just listen. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Give me your thoughts in the comments after the video if you're watching. Just for me, it's just so underwhelming because now when I'm looking at things with a view to a permanent move, I'm seeing how these players can work in the Premier League. That's how I'm looking at things. We're not in underneath the playoff positions here. We're not in eighth place trying to fight to get into the top six. We're not in the top six trying to break the top two. We are in the top two. So we should be planning accordingly to say we're in the top two, we're going up, and this is what we'll need in the Prem. This guy can help us out. Cameron Archer can't do that. He can't, not at Leeds United anyway. What are we saying? LUFC, Baron Cross just tweeted. Okay, let me go across to Baron Cross. Let me go across to Baron Cross. Let me have a look and see what the latest is. Okay, yeah, it's just the same kind of thing. Okay, let me get this up. We can read it together. As reported elsewhere, Leeds United are keen on Cameron Archer. They would like a loan deal before Monday's 11 p.m. deadline. Scored 18 goals in 40 championship appearances, but that was a few years ago. That's correct. And I was going to come on to that. The Matt Targett noise continues to baffle the folks at Ellen Road. Baffling me. I'll be honest with you. He's either coming or he's not. I've seen two reports from very, credible people saying that he's leaving Newcastle for Leeds, and another one saying outright, and this is the one I've got from Ben Jacobs, saying Matt Targett, we're not expected to make a bid for him. It's absolutely insane. Don't know what's going on there. But in regards to what are you guys saying, people? Let me know let me get your thoughts. Matt here saying he's not going to cut it in the Prem, so obligation is just shifting him off their books when they go down. No thanks. Yeah, and even from a Southampton point of view, they're gone. They're gone ski. Have you seen their point total? 6 points. Criminal stuff. But they have just let Ben Brett and Diaz go. Literally, he's just gone to Sheffield United just in the last week. So that leaves them with who? Adam Armstrong. Do they still have that big, like 6'8" guy? I just don't know why they'd let him go with an obligation when this player could literally help him next season come back up. So from a Southampton point of view, I'm thinking, no, we'll keep Cameron Archer. Listen, he may have to go out on loan to Leeds United, fine. But we want him back next season because he will score goals for us in the championship. So I don't get it from their point of view. If they were staying up in the Premier League, I can completely understand because they're seeing that player that isn't quite Premier League ready, but they're going to shift the onus on Leeds United to take him with an obligation to buy. Would get it from that point of view. Don't get it in the position they're in. Dave here saying, hi, KG, it's all a smoke screen for me. A striker will come in from abroad, in my opinion. Let's have a look. Rusty is saying, unless we can loan an absolute gem, which is difficult in this window, we need to avoid clauses to buy. If promoted at all costs, they bite hard. Yeah. I mean, look, some of them, there are a few where I would say I understand. Like say, I mean, we don't have to go back onto the goalkeeper again, but like Jason Steele from Brighton. If Brighton said to us that we can take him on loan, but our obligation to buy around 3 million in the summer, I'm on board. I can accept that. But it's like those other ones where you see I mean, even Sheffield United have got a good one with Harrison Burrows. Excellent. If they go up, they pay another 4 million on top of the fee that they've paid. They will be happy to pay that for him. He's been brilliant for them. But then you look at Burnley with Jaden Anthony. When they go up, or if they go up, they have to pay Bournemouth 10 million. I wouldn't like that. So yeah, we're always at the mercy of the clubs above, but you've got to be sensible and you have to have an eye on the future. And if you're taking up one striker spot with Cameron Archer, hey yo, listen, LUFC Passion saying he's open to it, or they are open to it. Don't know what you are, man. And Saints Extra just tweeted, hey, LUFC Passion, you're on it for me. Let me have a look. Let me go back onto their page. Oh yeah. They've just basically repeated what Baron Cross has put there. No problem. Dave here saying, shout out to you, Dave. I'm sick of hearing about players that are coming to us that we hear it's not on. It's a joke. Yeah, yeah. And Matt here saying, I'd rather Evan Ferguson. I think he's got Premier League clubs in his sights. But yeah, Matt, that's another one. Evan Ferguson, I mean, he's had a terrible time with injuries, got to say that. But I still think that that striker's in there from like 2 years ago, the one that looked like he was going to light it up. I think it's about him just staying fit. But there was a third option that I said. Remember in that video where I said about Daniel Farke and coming out and making clear that he wants an attacking midfielder, centre back, and possibly a striker? There is another third option here where both Farke and the board have said, yeah, just go out and say that we're in for players or we're in for positions, and then we'll say we tried at the end of the month. Because without sounding horrible, a lot of fans do fall for that. They do fall for the, yeah, but we did go in for Buendia. We did go in for Omar Bamadeli. We did go in for Cameron Archer. But what can we do if the clubs didn't let them go? A lot of fans do get fooled by that stuff. But I need to see, people in the building for me, because we're Leeds United. I've seen clubs in this division sign players. You telling me it's impossible for Leeds United to go and get players in the positions that we need? Obviously, it's going to be different for us. People know we've got a bit of money. We're going to probably be promoted. Please, we're going to probably be promoted, so people will try and insist on those obligation clauses. But you can't tell me if these 49ers, especially Parag, who does deals in his sleep, they can't do deals to get players at this football club in the position we're in. I find that very, very hard to believe. Yeah, we tried FC. Yeah, you can't get me with that. You can't get me with that. I mean, that kind of stuff was done 10 years ago. Absolutely not. It's just a really weird one. And then let's go on to what we've got now in Peru and Joseph. The thing is, for me, in regards to this would just be adding on. Let's just say Leeds and Southampton do agree a deal and it's an obligation to buy. For me, and listen, who said it the other day? Philip Anderson, who's a big Farke supporter. And there's nothing wrong with that. He thinks that Farke will be all right in the Premier League as long as he gets backed. The thing for me is that we've already got enough in this team, in this squad right now, especially up front, to be better than we are. And his thing was saying that when we go up, the way Farke plays football is more conducive to Premier League styles. And he's probably right. But the thing is with Farke, it's the same plan, whether it's against Plymouth or whether it's against Burnley, it's the same plan. And when the game is, you can see when the game needs changes. You can see where a player could come off and you can freshen it up or do something different. He doesn't do it unless we're coming to that 70th minute. And that's the tactical inflexibility with Farke. And just going on this kind of thing here, and to my original point, we don't need another striker if we played into them a little bit more. People talk about Peru not doing this and Joseph not doing that. Guys, they do not get as many opportunities as they should. We should be talking on these match reactions and saying, how is Peru and Joseph still on the goals they are? They should be in double figures. I mean, Peru's in double figures, but he should be on higher. Joseph should be on higher. We play football in a way where it's to the wingers to score goals. The striker is basically the one that is trying to hustle the centre backs, make space, and while we go down the byline and cross it in, and someone will score goals, the wingers or Jaden Bogle even. The service isn't there for the forwards, and that's why I'm not so concerned, because we are getting goals from a whole host of positions. But even with this, in terms of Daniel Farke, rotate the team, do something different. And this is my thing, and this is why with Philip, I said to him, different managers have different plans. If you look around, go and watch other football. Unai Emery has different plans for different teams. Even Jurgen Klopp, who was married to that high octane fullbacks push forward. I got three central midfielders that do all the running around and give the ball off to Mane, Salah, Firmino. Even he, against the Real Madrids, against the Man Cities, against tougher teams, would adapt a little bit. But Farke, it's literally one plan or nothing. Like, I'll ask this. How many times could we have played two up front this season, people? Two up front. Think about how much possession we have, how many chances we create, and people get the chances created thing very, very messed up, because chances are chances. It doesn't say the quality of the chance though. And the amount of times we're having to bustle through two banks of five and try and get shots off that get blocked and everything else like that because the build-up is so slow. How there's times where we could have played two up front, Peru and Joseph, who've looked very good together when they do get the opportunity to play. But that's usually when we're chasing the win or we're 1-0 down and he throws on all the strikers after the 85th minute. How about starting with those two? Change it up a little. But we're so easy to read, and that's why we haven't taken 3 points off Burnley this season in a match. That's why we haven't taken 3 points off Blackburn in a match this season, because it's the same plan for every single team. Hyru, I mentioned Emery, Areola, who should have been our manager. It should have been us. He's the perfect example. And this is why I say, for people that only watch Leeds United, go and look outside of this football club and you will see other managers that are in a bind. Bournemouth have like 9 players injured and they've got midfielders scoring hat tricks and clean sheets. There are different ways to play football. And if he goes up, and by the way, people, we're not going to have as much possession in the Premier League as we do in this league. So that already takes away one factor of Farke ball in this division that makes us a success, winning so many games. So what then? What about when our defense can't keep out those Premier League players and we're having to rely, let's just say we don't replace the goalkeeper, which we better do, by the way, but let's just say Meslier then has to be more called upon. Then what? There's just so many things, people, that with his style of play, they just don't equate to Premier League football for me. And listen, I've just gone on a whole tangent there. And thank you to Philip Anderson that made me do that. But I understand some people believe in Danny Farke, and I got nothing against you if you do. I just see Premier League football, and I just see him getting swallowed up. I do. But look, Dave here saying, KG, is it the 49ers or Farke that won't play players? It's Farke. It's not 49ers. But then if you're the big bosses, you can just say to him, look, are you sure you don't want to play someone in this position? I mean, he did say I think it's like a couple months ago now, that he doesn't like to see wingers in the 10. But he literally said, though, at the start of the season that Nanto and Aronson would be our 2 10s. And it wasn't until that we got the injuries to Ramazani, we got injury to Dan James, I think, that then he had to switch things around. And then he just hasn't gone back to his original plan, which was to put Nanto in the 10. And you just think with Aronson, Aronson's done very well in that position. But you think if he's looked a little tired. He has. The moments aren't coming up for Brendan anymore, even though in previous games before this, he'd come up with a goal or assist because he stayed on the pitch and he'd come up with a little something. It hasn't happened. So why not put Nanto there? Why not play the 2 up front? Again, and it's to the league we're in. We're playing crap teams in this division, absolute booty teams. We the aggressors here. We're the team on top. We should be able to inflict a different game plan than we currently are. Stephen here saying we need a new team if we get to the Premier League. Yeah, listen, we'll talk about that in the summer. But yeah, unlike last season where we had a pretty decent base to build off, we need a lot of surgery come the summertime, and I hope the 49ers are ready for it. I really do. Good comment here from John saying here about Archer was Martin's signing. Started a lot under him. New manager Zurich has benched him a lot. And that's a fair point, John. He may not fancy him in terms of that. And you're absolutely correct. It just... So on that point, get that. Thank you, John, for that. But from a Leeds United standpoint, and we've still got Bamford on the books, who's going to come back at some point to get injured in 10-minute cameos. Got Joseph Peru, Cameron Archer, and we literally, seriously, only play one striker. Yeah, I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know about this. Philip's here. And it was Philip's comments that got me in that monologue. But yeah, shout out to you, Philip, man. Hyru here saying Farke is a poor man's Postecoglou, stubborn, no plan B, not willing to experiment with the quality ingredients this team has. The definition of plain Jane. Yeah, no, Postecoglou. And it's funny because Philip said, would you rather have an open manager and get beat every week or a defensive manager? But the thing is, and I said to Philip, it's a crazy thing, but there's managers that can do both. And we've already had the extreme. We've already had the extreme of Bielsa where he didn't adapt. He literally had plan A. That's why I've called Postecoglou and Bielsa, because they are literally the same manager. It's crazy how similar they are. If plan A don't work, we're going to try and make it better. You know what I mean? But there are just more balanced managers out there, and it's as simple as that. Um, let's have a look here. What we saying here? Oh, Russ in the house. Oh, he gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Russ, man. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for that. UFC Passion is saying you need the balance. Yeah. So yeah, Cameron Archer. I mean, I've just gone off on a whole monologue about something different there, but it just goes to what we currently have. I do feel like we could utilize the current squad that we've got a little bit better. But again, I'm not the manager, so we have to go with what the manager requires. Uh, is striker the best thing in terms of a recruitment? If we are to get one player, for me, it's probably still centre back. I mean, obviously, goalkeeper would be the one, but there's no point talking about that. I think a recovery centre back would be better, like a rotation option, maybe a 10 if he's not going to use any of the wingers in the 10. Ramazani's even played in the 10 before, people, and looked pretty decent there as well. Yeah, I guess it's a 10. Guess it's a 10. Jamie here saying agreed Bamford contract should have been ripped up by now. Listen, no one can say that I'm biased with this because I've always said with Bamford, he may have requested the wages that he got, but we decided to say, all right, then, mate, you got it. And it's just like with the Marcus Rashford thing right now. Marcus Rashford is wanted out by Man United. They don't want him there. But people keep saying he needs to take a pay cut to leave. Why should he? Why should he? Because it goes both ways. And this is where I always side with the player on this. It goes both ways. If Marcus Rashford was scoring 30 goals per year, still in the form he was on when he signed that deal, Man United wouldn't be trying to push him out. And Rashford would probably saying, hey, I wouldn't mind a new contract now, and trying to get a little bit more money on top. But you can't have it both ways and saying, well, he's underperforming now. You know what? In order for you to leave, you're going to need to take less money elsewhere. Now, I don't subscribe to that. And I even say the same thing with Bamford. As much as I want Patrick Bamford out, he's well within his rights to keep the same money that he's on now. And listen, come the summertime, if we do get promoted, his money goes back up. So it's then on the club to do some kind of mutual agreement to say, all right, man, you're on back up to your 70 grand a week now. Please take this. Have enjoy your summer, go sign somewhere else, see you later. And we've agreed a deal to let you go. But I never put that on the player. And it's always the clubs as well, by the way, that make the players look like the bad people in this. And fans will always eat it up because in fans' heads, they're saying, well, if you're not playing, why would you want to stay anyway? It's not as easy as that. If you're on a contract for a certain amount of time, think about it in another way. If you're whatever mortgage you're on, your mortgage company, you're going to expect that money. You can't then go to your mortgage company, oh, listen, I was on 80 grand a week, but now I'm on 30 because I want to play football. They'll be saying, well, that's well and good, but where are you going to get the money? You know what I mean? There's just a whole host of things that people don't consider. Jack Rodwell was another vilified at Sunderland. But if Sunderland had done their business properly and not thinking they would never get relegated and put a relegation release clause in there to say you can go for this amount or your wages get halved, they wouldn't have been in that trouble. But it always gets thrown back onto the player. And that's where I just won't subscribe to that ever. Speak to too many players where when they're on top, they're promoted everywhere. But as soon as a manager wants them out, training with the kids, changing not in the real changing rooms, nah, not for me, mate. Not for me. Yeah, Russ saying here, we didn't strengthen enough last January and we paid the price. Yeah. AJ saying here, a number 10. Yep. If Largy is not playing as a 10, he's the best player, low center of gravity, quick feet and sharper if given game time. Yeah. And this is the thing for me as well. We literally could be seeing Solomon, Ramazani, and James all in one, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to play one of the wingers in the 10. So that's why when I do preferred 11s for games or things I would do, I think I'm going to go back to the style of me doing what I would do rather than what Daniel Farke would do at this point. It's either going to be Solomon playing or it's going to be Ramazani. It's going to be one of the two. You're not going to see both at this stage unless he has a change of heart at some point. But yeah, it's just one of those where we do have options to utilize, but they're not being utilized properly. They're not. What are we saying here? What else is everyone saying? Yeah, Michael here, just on the Bamford thing. He isn't getting another contract like the one he's on now. Silly for him to just to walk away from it. Needs to be paid off though, or something. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'll never go against that. As much as I want him gone and would love him to accept a 2 grand a week contract elsewhere, it's just not realistic. I always go back to real world. Go just quickly. If you're at a company, regular workers, because football it's a different thing, isn't it? If you're at a company and it's a blue chip company and you're getting paid a certain amount, you could go to a different startup or a different company that isn't as good, but you get higher money. You're probably going to take that, aren't you? 9 times out of 10, you're going to take more money. It's about your career, isn't it? That's it. Jack here just saying on Cameron Archer, what we don't want 4 strikers on the books who won't be good enough for the Premier League. No to our obligation for me. Yeah, I want no part of it, Jack. I'm absolutely with you. Yeah, Dave, absolutely. Ramazani has a gift in his team. He shoots. Yeah, he literally scored a goal the other week where it usually gets blocked by the defenders, but he actually put it through the defender's legs and scored a goal. He's got that gift. But at this moment in time, people, with the way Danny Farke plays, if you're choosing one or the other, how do you drop Mano Solomon in this form that he's in? I don't know how. I don't know how you drop him at this point of of the way he's playing. He's on fire. But that's what I mean. I think you can get Ramazani in the team, especially while Brendan Aronson could probably do with a game or two off at this point. But hey, is what it is. Russ here just saying here on what he would like to see. I don't want to see Ampadu in defense, so I'd like a centre back. However, I like a 10 in 10 2. In fact, I haven't got a clue what I'd like. Let's just get out this league. I feel you, Russ. I feel you. I'm absolutely with you, man. But I get you. Just get out of this division, man, because then we can stop talking about players like Cameron Archer, Matt Targett, and all these, and look at what Leeds United can actually get once we're back in the Premier League with the 49ers back and with the Red Bull network. And we can actually get some real gems out there to help us stay in the league for one and build from there. Not saying copy Bournemouth, not saying copy Brentford, Brighton, but do that kind of thing. Forest even as well. Do that kind of thing and not rely on this team to keep us up. Thankfully, we don't have the last owner that thinks we can just stay up on vibes and family fun. Well, I think the 49ers will be serious once we're in the Premier League. I hope. Matt, you never let go of the dream, will you? Sesko, let's go. Let's go. You never know. If teams keep passing up on Sesko, you never know. But I think it's unlikely. I think he's quoted at something like 60 million. I think Arsenal may try for him in the summer. We shall see. We shall see, man. Yeah, we got Rafa. Yeah, that was it though, Stephen. He was the only one. And look how brilliant he's doing now, man. I love seeing Rafinha flourish the way he has. But we literally needed a couple more of those. But instead, we had, Rafinha's looking around going, hey, that's Forshaw, that's Tyler Roberts. That should never have happened. Never have happened. Oh, Luke Ayling at right back. No, we should have surrounded him with better. We should have. Um, we'll do starting 11s and stuff. We'll do the preview because Danny Farke is speaking in this afternoon. So we'll come back with the preview for the Cardiff game. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. Probably come back later today in all fairness. Yeah. What else is there? Is there anything else? Is there anything? Oh, yeah, yeah. Just quickly on this one. We're speaking of careers and money. John Duran, who obviously is a big striker in the world of football now, big potential. He's going off to Saudi. I only want to bring this up just purely because I think it was quite clear that him and Watkins couldn't coexist at Villa because they are two strikers that want to start. But with John Duran, I see the comment a lot saying, oh, he's wasting his career. He's throwing it in. I don't understand that point of view because yes, the league may not be as strong as where he should be playing, but he's not wasting his career. He's literally going to get generational money, which is what everybody wants in their career, isn't it? It's what everybody wants. Whatever you're doing, you want to make the best for you of your career so you can help your family, pay off stuff and never worry about, oh shit, it's the 20th. Have I got enough money in the bank for this bill? You want to do that, don't you? But I never understand that take. I understand people being disappointed that he's not going to stay in the big leagues, but he's literally going for generational wealth. And by the way, he could come back in a couple of years, stack up all that money and then come back to a big five league and resume from there. I don't get people's beef with it. People talking about, oh, he's got the wrong attitude. I think you've got a poor attitude if you don't take the money and you've got the opportunity to do so. I do. Yeah, exactly, man. He's making his career financially anyway. Exactly, man. Exactly. Dave is saying, what about Nanto at 10 and Ramazani at 9? Ramazani at 9? I don't know about him at 9. I would actually think Nanto would be the better 9. If you would, if because we've seen Nanto do it before, by the way. He's literally played up there and done a decent job because Nanto's a shooter too. But yeah, we can do things like this, Dave, and everyone else, but we don't. And that's the thing. There's no point. There is a point talking about it because it shows inflexibility, but I agree with a lot of things people say in terms of playing a two, changing Aronson from time to time, changing it to a three midfield at times, depending on the opponent. But yeah, it is. Um, let's have a look. Who's Duran? Uh, MLS. Did he go MLS? Let's have a look here. Philippa just saying here, I'm disappointed we haven't strengthened our squad again this Jan. We should have learnt from last year, a few injuries, and we're stuffed again. Yeah. The thing is, we don't need a lot, Philippa. That's been the most frustrating thing. We're on the 30th of January now, people. The window closes, is it Monday? We only need a few things to shore up this squad, just a few, not maybe even two. If being realistic, two things. That's it. Just to shore up the squad. Because look, someone's going to leave the bench. And I already said if Matt Targett was to come in or another fullback, Isaac Schmidt is leaving the bench. I think that's pretty clear, right? I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. Isaac Schmidt's place on the bench then gets taken by whoever comes in. And then if we then get another player in who's going to make the bench, someone else is going to have to come out. We are already stacked. It's just a couple of positions that we need, backup in, just to make sure we don't have to go back to the place where Ampadu's having to play centre back. And Daniel Farke himself said, I like Ampadu at centre back, but not so much for the running. So even he knows it's not a long-term solution. So yeah, we have to learn lessons from last season. Nidar Verba must be leaving. Haven't seen anything about Verba except for that we are literally keeping ice on his knee day and night. Haven't seen anything credible in terms of Max Verba. So I guess until further notice, he's going to be staying in the squad, which for me is good as long as he can get healthy. That's the thing with Max Verba. He's a very good player, especially at this level. But he's not staying fit, and he's missed games where I think he could have played in because he's not 100% fit at this time. And Russ here just saying here, as we come to a close on this one, we just need tweaking with a little more additional quality. Yeah, we don't need to blow anything up in terms of taking certain people out the starting 11. Our outfield is absolutely brilliant. It's just that we need to make sure that if Pascal doesn't recover from his hamstring injury in the said time at this moment in time, that we're not having to rely on Ethan Ampadu going back or even experimenting with Gurev going back to centre back. We need just make sure, just be sure. That's all I ask. Just be sure and get the job done. And the riches will make it worth it. Because let me tell you, if we stay down, it's going to be ugly next season. It's going to be ugly. Lewis here saying, is any outgoing, do you think? Apart from Sonny Perkins, who's going to be going to making his move to Leyton Orient permanent, don't see it. So again, that's a win for us that we're not losing any, of our better players this month. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be losing anyone. I think Daniel Farke himself said that as well, saying that we're not going to be losing anyone that's played in the last few weeks. So there we go. It's all yeah, Nida here. One Premier League level goalkeeper is all I really want us to get. Yeah, the thing is, it's like shouting into the air, isn't it? With the goalkeeper stuff, we're not getting a new goalkeeper, so we're gonna have to keep on hoping that we can keep suppressing shots in the games, and hope that continues for the remainder of the season. And that's our best chance of going up. It really is. So yeah, we shall see with that one. But yeah, we will speak about the transfer window when it closes and what we should have done. And I will be doing a member stream for that as well. I want to speak to you guys camera to camera. So yeah, it should be a good one. Stephen here just saying here, I think a 9 or 10 would reignite the team and the fans. Interesting you say that, Stephen. I think the 10 would. I think the 10, maybe the 9 would as well for the fans. But I'm thinking of Peru and Joseph. Does it ignite them? And this is where we need to be careful in terms of upsetting the harmony that we've got. I'm not saying that they are the be all and end all when it comes to strikers, but at the moment we've got a very, very good group that's settled. It's not like when we were settled and we were rubbish, okay, and we was getting beat 6-0 every week in the Prem. No, we've got a good group that are settled. And if you bring in another striker now who's going to take the reins, someone's nose is going to be put out of joint. And I don't know if I want to risk that at this moment, but we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, listen, I still believe that too, Dave. We're going up. Obviously, we're going up. We're going up, of course. And Matt, no, Rasmus is not going to be recalled. No, no, my God, Matt, why would you remind us of him? No, no, no. I think actually Frankfurt are looking to do a permanent deal for Rasmus. So I think he's going to be staying there at least for the remainder of the season, and then he's going to be going in the summer. I would love him to do a deal this January just to make sure that he's gone. But yeah, he won't be coming back, thankfully. But yeah, listen, people, that is it. We will be back later today. Farke's going to be speaking, so I think I will be back today. If not today, I'll do it tomorrow with the full preview. But yeah, that's it for the show. Listen, I've said a lot in this video. I know I've said a lot, but any thoughts on it, put them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Like the video as well before you go. Really does help out the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.